The home run. It's the best possible offensive outcome in baseball. If you're really good, you might hit one home run every 20 at-bats. And if you can consistently hit home runs, you'll make a lot of money. There's a correlation between how many home runs a player hits and how much money they make. Clearly, baseball teams compensate home run hitters well, even if hitting home runs is literally the only thing they can do. But plenty of players have made a living not hitting home runs too. We're in a world where new advanced stat acronyms are being spawned at a rate faster than the alphabet agencies during Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal. And I'm gonna add another ingredient to the advanced stat soup: Homerun Value. In other words, how much a team pays a player per home run they hit. The calculation of this stat is pretty simple: career earnings divided by home runs. Players that only specialize in hitting home runs have a lower home run value. Dave Kingman, for example, didn't defend or run particularly well. He could hit a home run or two, but take away his home runs and he can't do much else. For that reason, the home runs he does hit are valued pretty low. High home run values come from players like Ichiro Suzuki. Ichiro's value comes from his exceptional defense and high on-base percentage, rather than his home runs. The home runs he does hit are the cherry on top of an already great player. The highest home run values belong to a specialized group of players. Pitchers rarely hit home runs, and Max Scherzer boasts the highest home run value, having earned over $300 million with just one measly home run to his name. In fact, of the qualified players with home run values over $3 million, 74 out of the 75 are pitchers. But among this group is an imposter, an outfielder who made a lot of money, didn't hit many home runs, and makes a strong case to be crowned baseball's anti-home run king.
Juan Pierre, his first Marlins at-bat. Squares to bunt, lays down a beauty. David Bell makes the throw, forget it.
Over a 14-year career, Juan Pierre hit 18 home runs. Pierre's first full season came in 2001, right at the peak of the steroid era. While Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa were busy chasing home run records, Pierre hit 2, which tied him for the second fewest home runs that year among qualified players. The next year in 2002, he cut his home run total in half, hitting 1 the entire season. But these low home run totals don't paint the full picture. You see, Pierre spent his first 3 seasons with the Colorado Rockies, a team with a home stadium notoriously friendly to hitters. Geographically, their stadium sits at an elevation 5 times higher than any other MLB stadium, and the thin, dry air at that altitude allows baseballs to travel farther distances. From 2000 to 2002, Pierre had a total of 778 plate appearances at Coors Field, the second most plate appearances out of any player, right between Todd Helton and Larry Walker. And while Helton and Walker hit 72 and 45 home runs, Pierre racked up a Coors Field home run total of 0. In total, 27 other players had more than 100 plate appearances at Coors Field over that span. All of them except Pierre had at least 1 home run, and the 2 players that had only 1 home run had 5 times fewer plate appearances as Pierre. After his time in Colorado ended in 2002, Pierre was traded to the Marlins. He won a World Series in 2003, but his trend of poor home run hitting continued. His best home run hitting season came in 2006, when he mashed 3 homers for the Chicago Cubs and finished 155th out of 160 qualified players, the last of the bunch coming on September 18th. And then came the drought. 728 days passed, almost a full 2 years before Pierre hit his next home run. In 2007, he became one of 2 players in MLB history to play in all 162 games and not hit a single home run, joining Jimmy Barrett's 1904 season from over 100 years prior. He finally broke the drought on September 15, 2008 with a solo shot off Pirates reliever Marino Salas. And again, then came the drought. Not quite as severe this time, but still, 687 more days of homerless baseball before taking future Cy Young winner Rick Porcello deep in August of 2010. He hit 4 more home runs over the next 3 seasons and never exceeded more than 3 home runs in a single season. Baseball analysts fawn over triple plays, no-hitters, and immaculate innings, but while he was in the league, a Juan Pierre home run was rarer than all of these events, and there are a couple main reasons why. One of the home run's greatest enemies is the ground ball. If you hit a ground ball, it turns the act of hitting a home run into an almost impossible task, and Juan Pierre was a ground ball hitting machine. When Pierre made contact, he'd hit a ground ball 55.5% of the time. Of players with at least 7,000 plate appearances, that's the second highest ground ball percentage of all time. and on the off chance Pierre did hit a fly ball, the chance of it leaving the yard was 1.2%, by far the worst home run to fly ball ratio, and it's not even close. Pierre's allergy to fly balls and lack of power do much of the heavy lifting in keeping Pierre's home run total so low, but he's got one more trick up his sleeve. If we say that ground balls are the home run's enemy, then bunts are public enemy number one. When you bunt, you intentionally give up the opportunity to hit a home run in favor of a weak tap. Bunts are usually used to either advance a base runner or catch the defense off guard, but Juan Pierre used the bunt as a way to get hits. He was self-aware that he lacked home run power, so he practiced bunting instead, and he became one of the best bunters of all time. Fangraphs first started tracking bunt hits in 2002, and since then, Pierre racked up 217 of them, by far the most in baseball. Nearly 10% of his career hits came from bunts, including 3 bunt doubles. Pierre perfected the art of the bunt, and in doing so, inadvertently strengthened his case as baseball's anti-home run king. But if Pierre is truly the anti-home run GOAT, there's one last trait he needs: longevity, because usually players that don't hit home runs get bounced out of the league pretty quickly. To achieve a home run value as high as Pierre's, it meant teams paid him a lot of money despite his lack of home runs. And what he lacked in home runs, he made up for largely in one category: speed. While Pierre didn't hit home runs, he did get on base. A lot. He twice led the American League in hits, thanks in part to all those bunts, and once Pierre got on base, teams couldn't do much to stop him from running. He led his league in stolen bases for 3 seasons and racked up over 600 stolen bases during his career, good for 18th all time. His success at stealing bases even got the attention of Jay-Z. And Jay-Z's got a point. Beyond just stealing bases, Pierre's base running on balls in play was elite. Say a player is on first base, and the batter hits a single. An average player will make it all the way to third base only 28% of the time. Juan Pierre made it to third base over 41% of the time. By making it to third base instead of second, the chance of scoring a run almost doubles. Pierre was one of the best at this. Take this game back in 2010 as an example. Pierre was playing for the White Sox at the time, and in the top of the first inning, Pierre hits a single into left field to get on first base. After 3 pickoff attempts and a pitch out, Omar Vizquel singles into center field, and Pierre cruises into third base standing up. Let's fast forward 20 minutes to the top of the second inning. Pierre hits a single into left field to get on first base. Omar Vizquel singles into right field, and Pierre cruises into third base standing up. In both instances, Pierre scored on the next batter. And it wasn't just going from first to third that Pierre did well. He was above the major league average in scoring from second base on singles and from first base on doubles. He created runs for his team using his legs rather than his bat. And while Pierre's weak bat also translated to a weak arm in the outfield, he was a serviceable defender and used his speed to get to balls that would otherwise drop in for base hits. 58 center fielders have gone a full season with a fielding percentage of 100%, and Pierre is the only one to have done it while playing more than 1,400 innings. Pierre converted these skills into a 14-year-long career during which he earned over $57 million. But in reality, Pierre probably should have made more than what he did. Fritz Ostermuller once said, "Home run hitters drive Cadillacs, singles hitters drive Fords." To prove this statement, look no further than Pierre's fellow 1998 draft class member, Adam Dunn. Pierre and Dunn are polar opposites in almost every way. Dunn was a power hitter, a poor fielder, and ran the bases about as bad as anyone. Baseball uses wins above replacement to determine player value, and while Dunn and Pierre had very different skill sets, their WAR is nearly identical. You might expect them to be compensated similarly, given their near-identical value. But Dunn's career earnings are nearly double that of Pierre's. Teams value home runs more than they value base running. At the end of the day, baseball is a business, and players that hit home runs put butts in seats. Elite base running and bunt hits aren't usually why people go to watch a baseball game. Fans like to see balls get crushed 450 feet. But this makes Pierre's career all the more impressive. He was never an incredible player. He played a generally unappealing style of baseball, yet year after year he proved his worth. And with his 14-year, $57 million, 18-home run career, Pierre has earned himself the crown of baseball's anti-home run king.
How surprised was Juan Pierre that ball went out? He said, "Oh no, did I?" He don't know nothing about that home run trot. He's usually sprinting around the base paths.